Good evening. Welcome, Elaine, to the Monday night show. How are you all out there? It's great to see you all. We're on tonight, and we've got lots to talk about. It was a fairly quiet night and weekend of football. Nothing much really happened. Nobody's paying attention to what was happening in the world of football, and we said we tried to try and brighten it up like we could. I'm sorry about the mic. It's just weighing. It keeps drifting back this way, Gav. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I've got too many medals hanging out of it now. That's why. I've got
I
too
like
many
it.
medals. You like it?
All right, relax there, bleeding liver, Christy.
Show us your medals. Put your medals on the table.
You must have Michelle De Bruyne's hanging off there and all, do you?
This is the latest one. I'll just see that there. There we go. There's the medal from the weekend.
Oh, that's a
All
nice
in
one,
there.
actually. In
That's
Kenmare.
brilliant.
Come here, let me ask you. What did you
And they
think?
all link up.
What was your? Well, look, right. All right, we're making a jigsaw as we go along. Fair enough. But
Right.
what was your target time? 3 hours 25, was it?
No, the target time was 2 hours and 35 minutes, and I told you that was 15 minutes faster than I'd done the same distance at any stage, right?
Right. So 250 was your best. 235 was your target. What did you do with it?
Yeah. 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Yes, Lance Armstrong stuff. Right through you. I love it. And come here, did you get the drug test?
Full
at
of
the
the
end?
EPO. I did, yeah.
Greg LeMond at the end shouting cheat at you.
They couldn't catch me. I was that fast. I was just going, But I have to say that the problem I had, it was great. Now I have to say it is a faster one of the races that I do. So actually, probably the time is about right. I was aiming for, as I said, all but joking aside, right? So I was aiming for top 25 out of the 555 that went in the sport race, right?
So
And
is this
I was
age
aiming-
category wise or overall?
Overall, I was trying to get into top 25, so I wasn't messing about now. I was doing that right, and top 10 in the age category. So I'm over 40. I'm almost into the over 50 category, but over
Yes,
40 still. Right, we're hanging, clinging on with nails at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So I finished 26th overall and
Right.
11th in the over 40s. Right?
Oh, just out. Sick,
I was
mate.
like, and what's even sicker is on the kayak, right? I'm
It all
having a
feels
chat.
pointless now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm in the fellas with me in the kayak, right? And like I'd really put it in, got on the bike. 3 fellas passed by me. They were going like a bullet on the bike, and I said, "Nah, I'm not going to let go of the wheel." I stayed on their wheels and got all the way back into Kenmare, and then got off and ran down for the kayak. And the legs were like burning at this stage. Got in the kayak, fella with me, and we're going around. I'm having a chat to them going around the kayaks. I'm not like I don't practice the kayak whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And then bang around the kayak, and we're coming up, and your man just started to run away from me, and it was like I couldn't. There was another hill and up, and then running down the main street of Kenmare out across the finish line, and I could see him in the distance. I was like, I'm going to kick myself now. I'm now going to kick myself. So I got down and checked the time, and I checked the results later on. He beat me by 10 seconds, and he finished 25th and 10th. I was like, that's how close it was. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
actually
still,
could see
like
it.
in fairness, that's a ridiculous effort. Like that to go 2 hours 11 when 2 hours 35 was your target and 2 hours 50 was the most best you'd ever done it in. Like all the drugs worked.
That's like
Well, we've got the next one's in 3.5 weeks now. So I went back out. I went to do a recovery run today, and the hamstring. There was a bit of a ping in the hamstring as I was finishing it off. So I think we'll be off the run for 5 to 8
Kev
days.
wants to know, did any of them have the special helmets?
Do you know what? Right, there was
There's
one
nobody
fella
going around
with-
with them helmets on.
Not with that one, but there was one. I saw one fellow with an aero helmet, and I was just going, "You look like an absolute troubadour." Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean?
even
You'd be better off going down to your ma's gaff, right? Going up into the attic and saying, "Where's that helmet you used to have for the BMX?" Because you'd look more respectful than these bleeding mountains be having their heads. Honestly. A horse riding helmet, not a horse riding helmet. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Remember Delboy in the Only Fools and Horses when he had the horse riding helmet,
come here.
and he put the
Can I
thing
give
on
you-
top of them for all the lads.
You're gonna love this because I know he'll be a special guest on here over the international break, right? So I brought my son with me, right? And he's my eldest son.
Spoiler alert:
And-
his eldest son wants to come on the podcast. He will be on next
Yeah.
week. I don't know what's going to happen, but he will be on.
Fucking hell, he thought like we left Dublin at 4:00 in the morning to get down there for the start of the race, right? So it was a really early start.
What
And,
age is he now?
He's 12, right? So I was like, his big first
Smoking
time.
all, I'd say.
I was letting him hang around in Kenmare on his own while I was going off doing this. I was like, I won't be on for too long, 3 hours, whatever. I said, look, I'll text you now when I get to the top of the mountain. Now that was all grand. So I said, you go off and get breakfast and let me know how you're going. And when we get back close to the Park Hotel in Kenmare, that's where the kayak is. Come out and you can do it, whatever. Anyway, that was great. So he goes off, and I'm off up the mountain, whatever. And he goes, I'm going for breakfast now. I says, that's grand. So he goes into the Park Hotel in Kenmare, which is a 5-star hotel right now. And I want to give them a big shout out because this is stunning stuff. So he's on a scooter. Now, not an electric scooter, just a normal scooter, right?
Yeah.
And he's just goes in, and he has his little holder with him, and he had a switch in it. And he went up to a man at reception, started having a chat to them, and he said, where's the breakfast? And they're like, you staying here? He says, no, my dad's out doing a race. I was told to come in here. The breakfast's lovely in here, right? So they bring him in, sit him up on the table at the window, right? And he starts ordering what he wants for breakfast. And I'm there going, my credit card's going to be in fire at this, right? So he's sitting there ordering away. That's grand. And I was like,
like Macaulay Culkin and Home Alone, this is
off the chart stuff, right? So then he finishes up and he goes, I'd like to pay now. And he says, no, do you know what? He says, you're he says, yeah, Dad's out. And you know, he says, do you know what? You are an absolutely brilliant young man. He says, we'd like to give you this breakfast for free, right? So he goes, really? I said, yeah. He said, absolutely. Now he had a cup of tea, a scone, a bowl of porridge, or whatever it was the Elsie had with it, right? And I said, Auntie, you should have had sausages and rashers. You should have gone for the whole hog. And since I'm not paying for this, bring me out for the rest of the menu. Right? He says, and then they brought me out, and they had the scooter ready for me outside the door. So
washed and all, valet service on the scooter.
Valet service, everything. So I'm gonna email them tomorrow. But I want to say, fair play to the Park Hotel in Kenmare, like for my sake and also for his sake. He just thinks it's the most amazing thing ever now. And he wants to
when he comes on here next week, he's getting nothing for free. I can tell you.
That's been the crack. So fantastic. And Kenmare, I'll stand by. I think Kenmare is one of the best towns. If anyone is not from Ireland that's watching or listening, if you ever get a chance,
what's young Casey's first name?
Matthew.
If anyone has any topics you'd like to talk to Matthew about, message me directly and I will answer the questions.
Listen, I love him to bits, but he's no interest in football, right? So it's got to be brilliant, right?
Brilliant.
But he has
we prefer talking about random stuff than
he has. Especially international break, he has a list of questions for you, Gav. Right? He literally he has a flipboard. Right? He's been sitting there going, "I'm going to have a list of questions for Gav, and I want to ask all these questions." Right?
All right.
He thinks Cristiano Ronaldo's the best footballer in the world, and it's like,
well, that's the reason why he's no interest in football. He's a fucking Egypt, Matthew is.
So he's getting a big shout out. So if you're, he's probably sneaking on and watching tonight. So if you're watching, well done, little man. You kept me alive and sane on the way home. I managed not to fall asleep in the car, which was fantastic. And
he'll be on next week, promise.
Exactly. Anyway, go down and stay in Kenmare if you have the chance. It's a great county, and big thanks to the Park Kenmare for making sure that my son had the best time ever.
Golf down there.
There's actually right beside the Park Hotel in Kenmare is the Kenmare Golf Course, and it's a links course. It's out on the lake, not on the lake, on the sea.
We might ring them and go, I heard you give us stuff for free. I'll be down during the week. There'll be 4 of us for 3 nights. And I've no problem only eating porridge in the morning if that's kind of reduces the costs.
Yeah, it reduces the costs. And the booze, you enjoy the booze. Fantastic pubs.
Pete said Gav will have him swallowing cans and smoking Woodbines next week. Only if he's buying. Go on.
All right. So let's go on and talk a bit about the football. I'm delighted to have Robbie with me tonight. Robbie is over here, and Robbie, you were over to match, weren't you?
I certainly was. Yeah,
I was keeping an eye on social media. Yeah, I'd say you are, but I was keeping an eye on the social media to see what it was. Actually, I'm surprised that many people I knew that went over to the match. Gav didn't, but Andy was.
I saw Andy on the plane or in the airport. Sorry, I saw Andy in the airport. Yeah, I think he was with
Dicko.
Dicko, yeah, he's with Dicko.
Yeah.
Andy was looking out the window at all the planes, taking a note of the numbers on the wings, I'd say.
Didn't even want to go to the match. He just wanted to watch the planes. He was delighted with himself.
How many planes you reckon I'll see while we're flying over? How many do you think we'd see flying?
Remember his giant binoculars?
He loves the planes. He fucking loves the planes.
He's not one who loves them at the airport and listen to him and all.
Yeah, he does, and then he looks up the radars now. Oh, look at that going from Milan to Los Angeles now. He loves all that. Andy does. Yeah.
So, but look, I tell you what, fantastic game of football. It really was a fantastic game of football, and it's one that really symbolises, I think, as a last sort of fisticuffs between Klopp and Pep in a league match. it was very fitting. It was swashbuckling the way most of the really great games that the two teams have gone at each other. Which
I looked at the. I didn't look at the record. It come up today. 8 wins for Klopp, 7 wins for Guardiola, and 7 draws across the 22 league meetings or whatever it was. Like it's phenomenal.
It's massive. You know what I mean? It's fantastic, and like what I know we'll get into the various things, but I will say one thing. When I saw that team on Sunday, I was like, do you know what? Any result here is a phenomenal result, because that was essentially our Europa League team in November, right? Like that's what you're talking about. And that was a full strength City side. There's no excuses there. It's an absolute full strength City side that they had out there.
Yeah.
Literally no excuses. And your man Endo, for the amount of abuse he got at the start of the season, to pocket the whole Manchester City midfield, to end Kevin De Bruyne's
career,
career, right? Just based to end it. And then for the way Kwanzaa played, oh my God, what a little gem we have there. I want to say a gem. What an absolute marvelous gem we have in a defender. Like, if you wanted to see a young Virgil van Dijk, you're witnessing it, because his composure and his talent and everything is just fantastic. And I will say, I've given Joe Gomez plenty of stick on here because I thought he was finished, but as a left back, he's been doing a phenomenal job.
He was even better at right back then when he switched over, in fairness.
Yeah. So I've got no issues whatsoever with the performance put in. That team has balls of steel, and they have more metal and fortitude than any Liverpool team I've seen in the world, particularly the way they're dealing with. Well, if you look at what the injured 11 looked like, you'd say that injured 11 would beat the 11 that started the game on at the weekend. So it's the craziness of it. And I also want to say, unsung hero, Caoimhín Kelleher. He's been phenomenally quiet. I want to say quiet, I mean, like we haven't missed Ali, which is mad when you think about it. Like, between big saves he made during the week, on to the performance again against City, like it's incredible. It's incredible to see a fella who's been sitting on the bench watching, being able to perform at the level he's done. The difference with him there and Ali at the moment. That's not to say that you wouldn't want Alisson back when he's fit, but it's
I said it last night. I think it just gets to the stage when Kelleher's in goal, you just go, Kelleher's in goal.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a conversation around him anymore. And I also said last night that Caoimhín Kelleher may make a mistake between now and the end of the season that may cost us points, but that's and you will get the whole, Alisson wouldn't do that. Well, that's horseshit, because Alisson has made mistakes, and Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world, but every goalkeeper makes a mistake at some stage. But I think Kelleher has been the save he makes the other night at the back post, Sparta Prague, and Gomez clears it, is a joke of a save. Like, it's literally point blank, and it's going above his head to his left, and how he manages to keep it out. But look, I keep going back to it. Klopp keeps telling you he doesn't care how young they are. They're in the squad because he believes in them, and when they go on the pitch, he believes in them, and he expects. And if he expects a certain amount from you, you have to put it in. And he's only putting you on the pitch because he thinks you can. And I thought they were, bar the first 10 yesterday, where City came out like a house on fire, which you expect. Liverpool, I thought, even during the time when City score, I thought Liverpool were just worked so hard, and there was so much clever play, and they just got braver and braver as it went on. And I don't think there's any negative in that result of Liverpool yesterday. I actually think, I said it after the game, I make Liverpool favourites for the title now after that yesterday. 100%.
Well, Robbie, you were at the game, so before we get on to before you get onto your thing, like, my take was that they were feeling their way into the match. If you take, like, with such an inexperienced and young side, with City who were overwhelming favourites going into that game as well, like, what was it like in the ground? Did it feel like that they were, sort of more or less riding out that wave that they knew they were going to get for the first 20 minutes of City coming at them, and then they found their feet, they found their way?
To be honest, I wasn't expecting that onslaught in the first 20 minutes from City. I really wasn't. I thought they would try and kill the atmosphere, kill the game without taking too many risks and whatnot. So I was quite surprised, and I had that feeling. Do you remember the 13-14 game against City, the 3-2 we won? The second half they came on like lunatics, David Silva and Milner won the show, and I had that sick feeling in my stomach. It was felt quite similar to that, and it was like, okay, when they scored, it was like, okay, I've been expecting it that kind of way. I knew this was coming. This was going to come. So I kind of relaxed then. I think the crowd started to, that kind of like, okay, this was probably going to come. So raised her up, and I thought the crowd from that goal, I thought they were absolutely amazing. I thought, I think we've got with that new stand now, and if you can get, now I was saying to Gab before the match, there was a lot of corporate people around me with half and half scarves and stuff, but I was looking around when it was like feral, and they were all even getting into it, Phil,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the goal came, and then it was a matter of like, we go for this now. We step up as fans, we step up as a crowd as well, and try and lift them. And I think we did lift them, and they were just immense in the second half. Like, as you say yourself, lads, when you see the team and that comes an hour before the match, and you're kind of going, maybe we're not going to get away with another one, kind of thing. We're playing the best team in the world, let's face it. But they just rose to the occasion, and then some again. They should take all the plaudits for yesterday. We should never doubt them again, and just savour this last 10 games. It's a league of 10. It's a 10-game league now we have.
Yep, that's the way it's going.
So let's go for it, and I think everyone now. I think that result will give everyone a huge lift.
Which then brings me around to this. Your topic is take Mo off penalties.
Yeah, it's pretty selfish. It's pretty selfish because I have a heart attack every time Mo takes the pen. I just don't like his. I don't like the run up and all that. And now, it's Mo fucking Salah, lads. What am I? I'm not criticising, but I just feel more comfortable with McAllister. And I had a look at the stats today, and Mo in his career is 4 and 5. Now it's about. I think he's taken nearly 50 pens. He's got 39 of them. So that's 4 and 5. So that's you can't really ask much more of that, And McAllister's on 90%, but at a much smaller sample size. So he scored 12 out of 13 in his career, and I think it's 9 and 10 in the Premier League. But I just like his technique. It just gives me a bit more comfort. But this league is so tight. This could be won in a penalty kick in the last game of the season. You know what I mean? It's
my arse will fall off. It'll fall out if it's a penalty last minute of the season.
It happened with Liam Brady at Juventus. He took a penalty win the league title when he was playing with them. It can happen, and this is so fucking tight. It wouldn't surprise me if it went down to the last game and something like that happening. But it would be a huge, huge call from Klopp to go, Mo, we're not taking this. Give it to Macca. I don't like to think about that, but.
My thinking on it is, I know where you're coming from with the Salah thing because, right, I don't think 39 from 50 is a great record, right? That's where I am. But in fairness, I grew up with Matt Letizia taking penalties. I think he scored 40 and 41. You know what I mean? I think Crossley was the only one to save him from him, wasn't he? Famously for Forest, I think, at the time. And I think why people are looking at McAllister as opposed to Salah, and I think, by the way, straight out the bat, I think Salah will pull rank on this. Salah literally walk back in and go, listen, I'm the fella that scores all the fucking goals here. I'm taking the penalties, right? Yeah. But I know where you're coming from with Salah, and it's not because he's left-footed. People think, it's left-footed, your nerves are gone. Because if you actually reverse it, people love watching footballers, left-footed footballers. You just think they're a bit more graceful and this sort of thing. But with Salah, when he's running up, I always feel like that's a very long run up. It's a very straight run up, and it kind of screams to me like, I don't know. He doesn't know where he's going to put this. Whereas McAllister yesterday could have literally told Ederson where he's going to put it, but Ederson's not getting there because he's whipping a ball with so much pace at a height where it's not a nice height. It's beyond a nice height, but it's not too high where you're risking it going over the bar. And that's where I think the more the comfort comes from. And the same with Fabinho. Fabinho used to just run up and put them away. You know what I mean? Bump, whatever it was. He took a couple while Mo was out the last time. But it'd be interesting to see, because I do think Mo will just go, I take the penalties. Like, you're only taking them because I wasn't playing. You know, the sort of way. But it would be a huge call for Klopp to say, because we always talk about, he has the short. He's playing really well. He keeps the short. And that's usually what happens with Klopp. Obviously, this season, with the amount of injuries and stuff we've had, he's had to move people around. But Klopp might just go, listen, hold on. He's taken 2. He's scored 2. He's absolutely fine. He stays on them. you never know, Robbie. There could be a superstition thing amongst the squad. If you score, you stay on it, that sort of thing. But Phil, what do you think? Do you think he pulls rank?
I used to be really.
Don't say I don't care. I'm fucking sick of you saying I don't care fucking 3 times a week.
I wasn't going to say I don't care. I'm just going to
You
say
fucking were.
No, I genuinely don't mind him. See, like I've gotten to the point now with Salah when he started taking the penalties, I didn't like him, and I think he missed most of his penalties more or less at the start when he started taking them. He's been really good, and the problem is we have recency bias going on about. Because he missed that one in January against Newcastle. Do you remember the one that Trent blazed the follow up over the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he's been injured forever after that. So it's like it's and only coming back into the team. Now, I'll disagree with you. I think McAllister's run up is very like his, except it's from the right hand side, so it's from the opposite side as he comes to take it up.
No, Salah runs at pace in a straight line, really.
He doesn't. He comes from the side. If watch it. He starts straight, but some penalty takers then drift to the side to come in and hit it, right? And that's exactly what Salah does. All McAllister's doing is not starting straight. He's going over to that side and coming at it, but he hits it at the same height and with the same thing, but just with the opposite foot. So, this is really when Fabinho took 3 penalties or something like that. And I was like, take Salah off penalties, right?
Yeah.
But if you knock in 30, I think he scored 24 to 30 Premier League penalties. That's what his record is in the Premier League. So forget all penalties, just 24 or 30 in the Premier League, right? It's still 80%. As far as I'm concerned, it's not good enough. I know this sounds terrible. I'm the biggest Mo Salah fan.
He's missed 5 of his last 11.
Yeah, but does that include Egypt? Because that doesn't count either.
Well, Passio just says here he's missed 5 of his last 11. I can remember him missing one at, was it Leicester he missed one away at? He misses one away at Bournemouth. He misses one at home to Newcastle. He puts one wide at the Kop end against somebody as well.
He just scores so many goals, you just forget that he misses
the funny thing is, right, when he runs up to a ball with Salah, for me, when he's taking a penalty, right, even taking the run up aside, I much prefer when he just puts his foot through it and goes left or right.
But that's what he did against Newcastle.
Yeah, but he's usually when there's sometimes where he puts it down the middle. The best penalty he ever takes is at home to Arsenal, where he just runs up to it and sides foots it hard and up into the top corner.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, he tries that away at Bournemouth and puts it fucking wide. So it's like, I think where McAllister's penalties are like, I know where I'm putting this, and I'm not even looking at the keeper. I don't care where the keeper is, because the chances of him getting across to this, the power I'm going to put on it, is like somewhere between 0 and 0. They're just not getting across. Like Ederson is full stretch yesterday. Full stretch, jumping as fast as he can across that line. And he hasn't a hope of getting near it, because it's just that perfect height above his arm, under the bar, and it's whipped into the corner. And even if he gets to it, I think the power behind it, he doesn't get it out of the goal. And it's John Halton says, sorry Gav, but Salah runs from the side. He run up allows him to change his mind if the keeper commits early. Yeah, I take that. He runs up, he does kind of start to run straight and then bends. But the thing is, he's running at that much pace, and I don't even think he's looking at the keeper. How the fuck is he changing his mind as the keeper moves? How is he like looking at everything at the one time? You know, there's players out there like Jorginho, who literally just strolls up to it and just keeps watching the keeper, just keeps watching. And once one foot goes one way, he's gone the other. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's another thing.
Anelka was brilliant at that. Do you remember Anelka used to just roll up, walk up?
The best penalty taker was Signori. Signori used to take a 2-step run up and just plant it. End of story.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Giannino Pernambucano was the best penalty taker.
Oh, of Leon.
He just took all the free kicks and all the penalties, and he never missed a free kick or a penalty.
He never missed a free kick, even 40 yards out.
Free kick, 40 yards out.
But it's just another thing to add into the mix. Like Robbie's saying there, it could come down to a penalty on the last day of the season. Like, honestly, if we get a penalty against Wolves at the Kop end at the last day of the season with 5 to go, and I don't actually think it matters who steps up to it, I'd be gone.
I won't be watching that.
Do you know what I mean? I'd be under a table somewhere. Honestly.
Interestingly, that's when I'd have even more faith in him scoring. He's missed penalties in not big occasions. Who was the man that took the ball to step up in the Champions League final and open the scoring?
Yeah, but it was a terrible penalty.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible penalty scored. It's like Cascarino's penalty in the 1998.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Well, that's
Right? They're all good penalties once they hit the back of the net. That's all that matters, right? Genuinely, I think of all the things we could have talked about, I think it's an interesting one. What I will say is that like McAllister's penalty still gives me the heebie-jeebies. When you watch it in slow motion and all, it's at a lovely height for the goalkeeper. And
but
now
it's
you say
not.
he hits it.
It's way above his hand. It's actually way above his hand. It's Phil. It's between that nice level and the bar. It's up over him, and there's too much pace in it.
I looked at going, that's one you can save.
I might actually have a bit more. I'd actually sway towards McAllister more if McAllister actually looked up at the goal at any stage. Where, I'm standing up to this and I'm about to put it in, but I've seen him move and I'm just going to slide it down the other side of him. But McAllister seems
who wouldn't have taken a penalty?
Who?
Lewis Diaz couldn't kick a grand door from 400 yards out.
It's just I just look, to be fair, if you're giving me a last minute penalty to win the title, I'm definitely biting your hand off because it means you have a chance to win it. Because if you don't have the penalty, you don't have the chance. The sort of way. Yeah. But I'd nearly rather Liverpool had a free kick in a promising position or something than a penalty. It'd be just, I don't know what would happen. It'd be just fucking.
Actually, Anthony Boylan is right. Stick Van Dijk on the penalties. Now, if you want to see someone who's rootless, remember he told the Chelsea keeper where he was putting it.
Kepa just stood over there and he just put it through him anyway. Yeah.
Hologram goalkeeper.
Fair play as well. Just talking about McAllister, the 3.5 minutes of keep you up, he was doing was very entertaining before he took the fucking thing.
Yeah, well, there was the whole injury thing then and everything. Yeah. So the penalty was awarded in the 47th minute, and he scored in the 50th. In fairness, but I like. At the end of the day, if Mo wants to keep taking the penalties, I can't imagine there'll be anyone in the club. Not even Klopp. You can't take it. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is, if Mo's taken on the last day of the season, I don't want to see him side foot anything.
Actually, do you know who I love taking a penalty? Do you know who I genuinely love taking a penalty? Trent.
Yeah,
his penalties are outrageous.
And actually, Emmett says, don't forget Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai has a serious penalty record as well. You never know. It could be anything. Canters is giving it to Kelleher on the last day of the season. Like he just says, look, the calmest player I've ever seen. Just give it to him. He'll take it. But
for Alisson in the 89th minute, take the pen.
Yeah, it's just
get up for the corner.
It's I don't know. Like if it's Salah, I'm praying he just decides, right, I'm rattling this, and I'm actually rattling to me right hand side. I'm not opening my body out. I'm just lashing it in the bottom, right, kind of coming across it. If it's McAllister, I'm just saying, like, seriously, McAllister's like Johnny Wilkinson. He just puts the ball down and goes, doesn't look up, and just goes. It's all about technique and power and precision, and it's just boom and going in that spot, and there's no way he's getting to it. That's what I think McAllister does. But Jesus Christ, that last minute penalty at the Kop end for a league title will be off the chain. But yeah, I'll take it if you're offering it.
If you're just walking away going, no.
Well, it won't matter really. The worst game won't matter. Liverpool will have it won in the game before that anyway. So.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
I like that.
I think they'll win it. I think they'll win it away at Villa.
I'll take that.
That's interesting. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so Gav, as we manufactured a row there around penalty takers for Liverpool in a game, that penalty seems incidental to everything else that went on. I would have loved if somebody had said to me that Luis Diaz is now an amazing footballer, so I could have had that massive row with them saying Luis Diaz is the most ridiculously talented dribbler of a ball, but is a terrible, terrible finisher. And he just, when you were talking about things that would make you terrified, right? Him on a one-on-one situation in Wolves, needing to score, I'm off. You forget about your penalty, I'm off, because that fella he'll run to the corner flag or something, or hit two of the stewards.
Look, I know we'll get on to the next topic in a minute, but it's a brilliant ball from Salah yesterday through to Diaz. His first touch is brilliant because it just takes, I think it's Kyle Walker trying to get back, takes him out of the game. Because he, instead of a touch to his left hand side where Walker can make up more ground and kind of the angle gets less, he takes a brilliant touch right in front of him, which means Walker, no matter how fast he is, can't get back. he does everything right. You know, like he does. He gets a great touch. He opens his body like you would. My only thing would have been, when you opened your body, could you not have went inside the goalkeeper and went around him? Not outside, actually went across Walker and the goalkeeper, because if you watch it slow down, before he even kicks it, the keeper's gone down on his knee with his arms out trying to block it. And if Diaz just takes that extra second, I think he actually looks and goes, oh, fucking great, and go around him. Walker can't touch it because he's coming across you, and he scores. And he tries to put it in the corner and he doesn't. And he misses another one later on when he takes a touch when he shouldn't. He should just shoot. But in fairness, I loved Diaz's performance yesterday. I absolutely loved it. I think I've never seen a game. It's a long time actually since I've seen a game where Kyle Walker just didn't want to go over halfway. He does it once in the first half at the very end, where he should actually make a good ball to De Bruyne for possibly 2-0. And he does one in the second half where he actually goes on the run, gets beyond Foden, and then realises where he is and stops and turns around and comes back, because every time Diaz got it, he was at him all the time. And not only was he at Kyle Walker, he was committing other players at the same time. He was committing Rodri to him. He was committing De Bruyne to him. Bernardo Silva was over there trying to help out. And I just thought, listen, we talk about the fans yesterday, and I thought it looked electric, right? We talk about the players that come into the team and stood up, but sometimes you need a player that's just all action, and he's just believes in himself. He could have hit after that miss. He could have hit after that, and he didn't. 80 minutes in, and he's taken on Rodri and Walker the full length of Anfield. He takes them on a walk for the full length of Anfield. Do you know what I mean? And only because he's absolutely goosed to the end of it, where he hits Walker with the cross. I just thought he was absolutely phenomenal yesterday. And he's 12 goals this season. Yeah, we might look back at that chance and say he could have won it there for us. But there's so much more positive than a negative on Luis Diaz yesterday. There really is, because not only was he effective in what he was doing, but he was effective in what Man City wanted to do. And that was huge, because when Walker gets up that pitch, he makes that extra man all the time, and then they pull you apart. Because De Bruyne just ends up going over there and saying, right, Foden and fucking Walker are occupying these players high at the pitch. Now I'm just going to drop in. I'm going to pull a centre half towards me, or I'm going to pull a midfielder towards me, and then I'm going to start moving it around you. And Liverpool didn't allow that, and neither did Luis Diaz. So I thought he was exceptional yesterday. But not a great finish, but overall I couldn't fault Luis Diaz.
I told you my fault with him is that I think he's a phenomenal player to watch, but he's just production wise. And I know Kev says he's into double figures for this year, which is great. But he should be like into 20s. Do you know what I mean? Like he should be one of the top scorers in the league. That's where I run into difficulty with him, because he gets so many chances, he makes so many chances, and you just like, it's very hard. I suppose that, you know, he came in, he replaces Mane, who you'd argue wasn't as skillful, but it was a better finisher. Do you know that?
Yeah, but I think Mane starts from a much more central position. As a wide left player, I think Mane's found himself in a much more central position a lot more than Luis Diaz has. And maybe that's because Luis Diaz is probably more of an out-and-out winger than Mane ends up being at Liverpool. Mane, for me, ends up being a forward that just happens to be in that wide left position when they line up on the pitch. But like I just think it's harsh on him. I get where you're coming from with the finish. There's no doubt about it. But overall, like who are you taking out of that team? Who are you taking Luis Diaz out for yesterday? That's my argument. And who's going to run Walker like that? Because no one else is doing it. Unless you're willing to put Nunez out there and let him run on him. But Nunez, I don't think, is as good defensively as Diaz. I think Diaz is better defensively than people kind of make out.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyway, while we manufacture a row here, Gav, you want to talk about people manufacturing rows?
Yeah, like, look, we the lads done the post-match show yesterday, and we done a show last night, and look, there was loads of credit for Liverpool. I want to give an awful lot of credit to Phil Foden. I think he's a joke of a footballer. I think he's incredible. And I did give City credit last night, because look, it takes two to tango in games like that. And no matter if you don't like them, and I despise them for obvious reasons, but you have to give credit to those players on the pitch. They're a phenomenal football team, regardless of how they got there. But the decision at the end of the game yesterday annoyed me at the time, all right? And as the more the night went on, I was kind of like, yeah, but I'm very positive over the performance, and you get a point, and we know they have to play each other next in the league and stuff like that. But what the actual thing that's bugging me is, why are we making these football decisions so complicated? Like, why is there so many narratives and so many angles around a situation where you just go, that's black and white as to what that is. Why have we got, like, everyone, now, don't get me wrong, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But what I'm saying is, opinions being thrown out there that are absolute and utter fucking garbage. And they're being thrown out there as to make narratives, to make arguments, to make clicks, whatever it might be. But yesterday in that game, right, like, I seen Dermot Gallagher today trying to do mental gymnastics for fucking 6 minutes on Sky, and it was horrendous viewing. Like, to the point where I think it might have been Jay Bottroyd was on with him, right? Former Cardiff striker, right? And he's going, that's a penalty. Like, it's a penalty. And then Dermot Gallagher's saying, like, well, you know, he the referee thinks he plays the ball and he's correct. And I'm like, no, he's not, right? And then he's like, he relays the information to VAR who tell him correctly that he's played the ball. I'm like, damn it, he doesn't play the ball. They're literally showing it on a big screen behind you. McAllister plays the ball and this guy's foot is up and hits him in the chest, simultaneously connecting with the ball, right? Sue Smith, I think is the girl's name, was going, no, he plays the ball for us. It's a free anywhere else on the pitch. Yeah, but it's not being judged anywhere else on the pitch. And he's trying to make sense of this as if, like, yeah, kick a fella in the chest in midfield and we'll book you. Kick a fella in the chest in the penalty area. Yeah, it's a higher bar, does it? And I'm kind of going, is this actually fucking for real? Like, can we not just look at decisions and go, listen, he's kicked him in the fucking chest. I don't care where he's done it, right? It'd be like saying, do you remember the time Cantona ninja kicked your man over the thing? Well, look, it wasn't on the pitch, so, like, you know, what goes on off the pitch stays off the pitch. You know, the sort of way, like, you shouldn't be banning him. Like, he wasn't even on the pitch when it happened. Like, this sort of fucking nonsense that's going on. And honestly, I know there's tribalism, and, like, I genuinely believe, I think if you've done a study on the contentious decisions this season and you looked at the two people that were on Sky at the time, I think you'll find, and I reckon you might find that one of them will say one thing and one will say the other, because it immediately creates a grey area and a platform to argue a point, and that's all they want all the time. But Phil, what happens there yesterday, right? And again, I caveat it all, well, I'm absolutely fine with Liverpool drawing that game yesterday. But what happens there yesterday is a guy tries to chest the ball in the box, and I don't give a fuck what Docky was trying to do. His foot hits him basically in the armpit, which is level with your shoulder, right? In the box. And they basically go, the ref goes no, because he thinks he's played the ball, and VAR decide, yeah, no, very quickly, by the way, yeah, no, he has played the ball, when he clearly hasn't played the ball. He's played the player, right? That ball just happens to be there at the time. So now we're down to the point where every single time a player raises his foot, we're going to have to go middle of the pitch, yellow card, in the box, do what you fucking like. And we keep complicating this every single fucking week off the back of, I starting to think it's negligence by the PGMOL and the mainstream and other media turning around and going, let's just put this opinion in there and let's complicate it with fucking ex-referees and everything else, trying to mentally gymnastic their way out of this. It's fucking appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And like I seen somebody in an interview today and they said, what happens if it happens at the Liverpool end? If that happens at the Liverpool end, I'm going, you are a fucking idiot trying to kick that ball like that. You either get to it quicker and get a touch, or you wait for him to take your touch and then you try to do something to defend it. You don't turn blind with your foot up that high and try to kick a ball in the box. You simply don't. But that's where we are. We just keep complicating decisions, and it seems to be the way out and the way home for making excuses around them.
But you also got this yesterday of, you know, you're not going to give a penalty for that in the 98th minute of a big match like that. Why not? Why don't you? You can't have context. You can't, you know, just because it's at the 98th minute in a huge, maybe not a title side at this stage, but why can't you? The rules are the rules. Do you know? And that's what does my head in. You know, you can't do that. Of course you can. It's like someone cleans someone out in the first minute. You can't send them off. Of course you can. Do you know? It's the rules. doesn't matter when it is. Doesn't matter where it is. Pitch.
But what happens is you start picking apart arguments that you see come forward, like, there's a higher bar. That's just made up language. That's made up fucking language, right? Just say it's a high bar and everyone will go away. That's made up, right? Because let me put it this way: how many penalties have we seen this season? Sorry, let me start with how many free kicks have you seen given this season where a fella gets a touch in midfield, a lad clips him on the ankle, and there's not much contact, but a free is given, right? Loads of times you see it. Loads of times you see it, right? How many times have you seen a player go in the box and gets touched, goes down, and a penalty is given, right? Loads of times. It happens loads of times. So why aren't we turning around and going, listen, he would have had to really actually give you a good fucking kick there in the box for us to get that penalty, because it's a higher bar. That clip doesn't happen. And the argument is, like, when that happens in the box, is it enough for him to go down? We're not saying that in midfield. So why are we differentiating between an offence somewhere on different parts of the pitch and a level as to what way you have to do it? It's complicating everything. The rules are, if you impede somebody, no matter where it is on the pitch, it's an offence. The only difference is the severity of the punishment. Is it a free kick where everyone can be behind the ball and, whatever, and you need to be 10 yards away from you? Or is it a penalty where it's you and the opposition goalkeeper? That's the only thing it should be. All this high bar, it's in the box, it's the last minute, it's a big game. Like Jamie Carragher came out yesterday and said, I don't see the big deal in this. I don't see the big deal in this. People do that. People could do that in the middle of the pitch and it'd be blown up, and no one really cares. But in the box, I'm not too sure. And then tonight, after Kyle Walker does an interview with Sky saying, well, the referee showed his experience there and his character by not, Jamie Carragher's coming out and going, Jesus, like, there's Man City trying to change the narrative, like, as if they weren't lucky yesterday. How are you saying they were lucky yesterday when yesterday you were saying it wasn't a penalty? It doesn't match up. It's just completely complicating everything that's going on. It's like just throwing it all in the mix and hope everyone just fucking gets that confused that we just go, listen, on to next week. And it just does me fucking head in.
I don't care, says Phil.
Yeah, couldn't give a bollocks.
On this one,
I just have to check something. Go on, you go on.
Yeah, on this one, I'm sort of so far past the point of the officials and VAR and the refereeing and the levels of refereeing in the Premier League that it's exactly what you expect. And this sounds like it's exactly what you expect. It's just the whole piece of look. I've said multiple times on this, right? The PGMOL is an absolutely debased and incompetent group of officials, right? They aren't fit to be reffing at the top end of any sport. Don't mind football, which they're employed to do. And I think the hardest bit for me is that it's the same problem over and over again. And for whatever reason, nobody wants to really call it out. This comes back to protecting the institution as opposed to... It's back to protecting an institution as opposed to just calling out for what it is. Massive incompetence at a complete scale. Like, it's not... It annoys us because it happened to us yesterday. But it's happening every week. If you watch football every week, half the time is taken up with the wrong decision, the bad decision. VAR was in, VAR was out. He should have been booked, he should have been sent off. Should have been a penalty, it was a goal, it wasn't a goal. Like, I'll go with the force goal. Like, lads, the force goal is a classic example of these fellas being completely incompetent. Because it's Endo and McAllister gets blocked off that allows Stones to get the run to get for the opening goal. Right?
Yeah,
It's the same thing that happens in the League Cup final, but in that instance they use VAR and it's
no.
free.
You see, it's not really, because Endo comes from an offside position to block somebody. So because he comes from an offside position to block somebody, that's
Gav.
the rule. Yesterday, you see, I actually think City are really clever yesterday. Because what he does is he doesn't just block him. He doesn't look away from the ball and block McAllister. He engages with McAllister, who engages back by hanging out of him. They're both hanging out of each other. He's just stronger.
Can I just stop you there? Right? See what you're talking about. It's fucking rubbish. And I'll tell you why it's rubbish, right? blocking and holding and all that type of stuff has been going on. And if it was done consistently in every game and the rules are applied in every game, I'd agree with you, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that they make it up as they go, look, this isn't about manufacturing. It's great for Sky. I'm completely convinced, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? But I'm completely bought in on the fact that because this thing is so corrupt, and the Premier League is so corrupt, right? That the allegedly is so corrupt, allegedly, right? It's like, it wouldn't surprise me if there's as much now influence going on behind the scenes, saying we need to be able to dedicate 24-hour talk to sports and stuff like this. So VAR should really be taking on so much of this controversy over, but they can't afford it. And from the start, the referees have been against video assisted referees, specifically in England. And what's the best way to get rid of it? By making it completely unworkable and looking like it's incompetent. And I believe that at that level, they've decided that this is what they were going to do. When they're making decisions off the back of, well, I didn't want to get my mate into trouble or get him in the spotlight because even though he was right to say it, I didn't use it. And this is my thing. Or, if it was outside the box, yeah, but because it's in there, we have to add context. There's nowhere in the rule book that says context, right? So, as I said, we can have these conversations. Unfortunately, as fans, it's going to annoy us and it's going to decide where titles go and who wins what and when they win it and what it looks like. But the problem is that it's not going to change until they remove or create a competition to the PGMOL. And this is where I remain, and I have been for weeks, for months now at this point in time. Unless there's an alternative association of referees that can be used to referee games, and the clubs can say, I don't want to use the PGMOL until they bring their standards up. We're going to use the MGPOL, whatever you want to call it, right? We're going to use them for our games. And
I think the Premier League should take more responsibility and directly employ them. So instead of the PGMOL being a separate body that is contracted to the Premier League needs to turn around and go, even if it's the same people, to turn around and go, we are no longer dealing with the PGMOL. If you want to referee in the Premier League, you will become a employee of the Premier League, which makes the Premier League take way more responsibility over the decisions that's being made within their product. It's as simple as that, because every week, and this is what I go back to, complicating things every week. And what does it do? If you complicate it and you can get big media outlets or TV companies to get two people on screen to disagree with each other, you create a grey area, okay, for which the PGMOL will slide straight into and disappear into the night and back on to next week. That's what's happening. And the Premier League and the PGMOL, because they're two separate things, can just kind of bounce it around until people get bored. If they are directly employed by the Premier League will be asked these questions every week and will be forced. They will feel, because what's happened
just
here
get buried in another institution.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's like a cartel. We can only use the PGMOL. They're the only referees available on this planet. I've said it so many times. If you go out tomorrow as the Premier League and say, we need 40 officials with this qualification and we're offering you £100,000 sterling a year to referee, they'll be queuing around the fucking corner for the job. But the problem here is that you have a group of 20, 30 people, whatever it is, and they feel like they're bulletproof. And not only that, they know that now they have the media companies where they want them, where the media companies will make an argument, but they'll actually make up an argument that benefits them. Because if there's I don't think so, well, I do, then by complicating it, they have a way out. And this is what I keep going back to. Why can't we just look at that and say, Darren McGallagher shouldn't be there doing that, and Mike Dean shouldn't be doing it? Because what's happening is they're literally just going along with whatever narrative is being built up and trying to fit words into that narrative. Instead of just turning around going, he kicks him in the fucking chest, it's a penalty, Michael Oliver. I don't think Michael Oliver sees it, by the way. I think he thinks he plays the ball. VAR need to stand in and go, Michael, he does play the ball, but only after he's kicked this fella in the fucking chest. So you need to come to the screen. So again, not fit for purpose. They're not carrying out the duties they're meant to carry out. You see it all the time. A fella gets tapped in the box. It's small tap. And it's like, call back, go over and look at the screen, go over and look at the screen. He might have touched the ball, but he's actually taking his ankle at the same time. This fella is ninja kicked in the fucking chest. Do you know what I mean? And they're all going, yeah, like Emmett says it there. Mike Dean was in, all in. on thing yesterday, on Oliver being sent to the screen and Doku being in trouble. VAR go check complete very quickly again, I want to say. Dean does a full 180 and says, I agree. Good decision. That's what happened yesterday.
It's crazy.
But they've got. Remember, it used to be reckless. Listen, I'm not getting into the decisions. It's just I'm actually tired of it, Gav, and I don't mean to
No, I know. I'm tired
rubbish
of it.
your-
I'm tired of it. But what happens is we keep adding layers to it. First of all, it was, do they know the rules? Second thing was who's making the decisions. Now it's a case of basically, look, make whatever decision you want, and media companies will just come in and complicate everything, make an argument out of it, and everything will just go away. And the tribalism on top is just, that's what just seals it all the time. Like, in fairness, I know a couple of Arsenal fans, a couple of United fans said to me yesterday, that's a penalty. Like, any sane person knows that that's a penalty. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
all you want, honestly, right? And this shouldn't be even something you have to say. All you want is consistency in the applications of the rules of the game, right? And where a mistake or something's being missed, you utilise the technology to correct that. And you take away every single bloody piece of context and all that type of stuff. And I've long said it, I would rather a robot ref a match because it has no emotions and it's completely, there's no context. It refs by the rules. It just sees the game, sees the rules. Like down to offsides. I'll even go as far as offsides. There is not a single reason on earth why at this point in time offsides aren't automated. And nobody can give me a reason, right? Because you've got enough AI out there to be able to recognise the moment the ball is struck and have a invisible laser going across the last line of defence, right? So it just takes away whether it should put a flag up, and basically it beeps, and once it beeps, the flag goes up. Do you know what I mean? Like, or a red light goes on in the ground to say this is what it is. But
sorry, Antoine says, but you guys still won't use the word corrupt. Antoine, listen, I don't think they're that intelligent to be corrupt. Right, and this isn't about, if they were corrupt, they would be doing it to one team, and corruption would be because it's everybody it's happening to. You can't be corrupt against everybody, and everybody has suffered, right? And it's just incompetence. It's not corruption. It's incompetence, is what it is, right? Because I believe they don't like the system, and never have. I think they've dragged their heels on every kind of next kind of upgrade to the system there's been, and they just think they're untouchable. And because they think they're untouchable, standards drop and they become not fit for purpose. It's not about corruption. That's just the easy way out of it. That's Everton fans standing in the Gladys Street with like posters they made in their bedroom the night before, right? It's not corruption. It's fucking incompetence. It's happening to everybody, absolutely everybody, every week. And you will say, like, oh, well, it doesn't happen to City. I'm sure it has. I'm seeing, we talked about the Rodri handball a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of years ago. It happened. Every team has a gripe with how this system is. Every single one of them. It's incompetence.
It's just... sorry, go on.
No, go on, Robbie.
I was just going to say, I've heard this raised before. What do you think of the argument about making the officials on VAR independent? So get a new set of lads who work on VAR, who wouldn't know fucking Michael Oliver if he walked down the street.
I've said this all along. Do you know what the problem? Do you know what the problem you have there is? You already have a group of individuals that don't respect the players, don't respect anything bar themselves, right? Even that's what the PGMOL institution is. It's run by Howard Webb, who has literally no respect for anything outside of Howard Webb. And from my point of view, I said it from the very outset. The VAR should have nothing to do with the PGMOL. There should be a set of officials that are just set up for the video assistant refereeing, and if a decision has gone to the VAR, the referee shouldn't have the right to overrule it. Do you know what I mean? It should be like if they spot something that's being missed, then that's it. The decision is overturned, and that's what happens.
That's what will happen. Would be if they said, "I'll go to the screen," he's going to be like, "I'm not going to let these sheriff bastards show me up. I'm going to stay with my decision."
Yeah.
The VAR.
But again, do you know the worst part about it is, like, most of the day people have been talking about the foot up and the studs as opposed to the spectacle that was the match, right? And the amount of chances Liverpool had to win the game. And I know it was end to end. We aren't talking about, again, an example of arguably the best defender we've seen since probably Franco Baresi played football in the world, right? and his ability to be able to manage 2-on-1 situations. I've never seen the defender being able to do this on a regular basis, where Haaland is attacking him, who's seen as the best centre forward in the world, right? And he's able to control it. Like it's ridiculous. We touched on it. The footwork of Diaz, a full throttle, is outrageous. That pull, the one that Gav mentioned,
Looks like a glitch.
How are you doing that? Because he never breaks stride. The whole thing just happens.
No, there's definitely. It looks like. Do you ever get like a scratch on your FIFA disc when you had the PlayStation 2? That's what it was like. Every time you go down the wing, this is going to glitch like fuck, and then you're at the edge of the box like it's a cheat.
Yeah.
It was a joke. Yeah. But I think if you make the right decision there yesterday, it adds to the spectacle.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm saying to you is, in terms of what we should be discussing, it shouldn't be about this whole thing that's been driven out of, again, just incompetence. And it's so torn. It's like to the point that it's one of now the key talking features in games that people want to talk about all the time. When you saw the hoo-ha that was made over the drop ball thing at the Nottingham Forest game, for example.
Monumental, right? But that was described as by Mike Dean, by the way. Yeah, but Mike Dean seems okay today.
Yeah, he's great because whatever, right? So like I come back to it. It's listen, you know what I mean. These things, I will say one thing: bad decisions do even themselves out over the course of a season, and we'll get some, we won't get some, and that's where it goes. And on that, given that we're all annoyed about what happened, my topic is how honest is Klopp going to go? Because that interview was phenomenal. To call out everyone who's a football person realising there should have been a penalty, and if you don't, well then when he talked about Mike Dean and his reaction to Mike Dean, that was, I was sure to say this: your man is a clown, doesn't know what he's talking about. Why would you even bring this name to me? This fella is a Melodian head. I'm not having it. So look, I want to know how close are we going to get to an unfiltered version of press conferences as we get to the last couple of games of the season, because clearly he's going to want to do a bit of television after it. What do you reckon, Gav? Because the more he becomes unfiltered, the more he's going to be in absolute demand as a pundit after the season's ended, and he has to have one eye on like picking up a bit of pocket money at the end of the week.
The Euros. Yeah. Like he's definitely eyeing up RTE, going, can I get in there with Dunphy and the boys?
Bring him back.
Yeah. He's like, listen, I'll show you how it's done. You know what I mean? Absolute punch-ups in the RTE studio because fucking Latvia beat Estonia in the first group game. Do you know what? I think, look, the biggest thing about him leaving Liverpool is that he wants to live some sort of life. That's the biggest thing coming out for me. He's dedicated, you know, how many years now? He must be 50. Is he 56, 57 years of age now? And he's literally dedicated his life since he was whatever age. And he's the only break I think I remember him having was when he left Dortmund. But fucking 5 months later, he was at Liverpool. And look, that is the biggest thing in it, right? But just like, you know, in a side folder is the freedom he's getting from these wankers in the British media. It's definitely like, listen, life, family, I'm a grandfather, but I can't wait to get the fuck away from them little Egypts, right? So I think he's going to get more and more honest as it goes on. What are they going to do to him? And he's very clever in what he done yesterday. He turned around and he goes, you employ Mike Dean, don't you? And he went, yeah. And he goes, great appointment. Fantastic appointment. But he says it where people know he's absolutely taking the mick. But you can't say anything about it. My words were that was a great appointment, right? And he's not doing anything. He's literally having a go at Sky. And Mike Dean hasn't said anything about the Premier League. What are Sky going to do? Ring up and go, you're banned for 2 games. Who the fuck are you? Right? So that's what he's doing. I think it's amazing. I think if TNT Sports bring back the fella that tried to pick on him at Brighton, the same little wanker that was on the pitch when we beat Barcelona, you know, lauding Liverpool and the whole lot, and then he tried to have a go off Klopp after an early kick off at Brighton, and Klopp went through him, and people were like, oh, yeah, man, great for asking the question. You could see Klopp going, I'm going to strangle you, you little fuck. So maybe, I don't know, if he's brought into the middle of the pitch for TNT, Klopp will use him as a human pinata. He'll just batter him. You know what I mean? He just batter him with the nearest stick he can find. But I'm liking the honesty. And do you know what? Do you know what I'm liking most about it? Fans of other teams are still trying to twist this by saying, "Oh, he's losing the head." Des Kelly is your man's name, yeah. He's losing the head. Oh, look, his head's gone, the head gasket's gone, and it's not. What's happening is he's having the fucking time of his life. He thinks his team are amazing. He thinks the club is amazing. He thinks the fans are amazing. He's enjoying every minute of it because I think he thought, I'll get them back in top 4 and on the up when I leave. And now he's looking going, I can win the whole fucking lot with these lads. And no matter what happens from here in, I've won a trophy. I'm going to make top 4. Brilliant. Now I'm just going to have a good time. And I think, listen, he's no fucking idiot. So what he'll do is he's probably planning, who the fuck am I talking to after this game today? Who am I talking to after this game today? And I have me little sound bites ready for them and nice little digs all the time, because the funny thing is, no matter how much you have a go at Jurgen Klopp, when you actually go back and listen to what he talks about, he makes so much fucking sense. 5 subs, early kickoffs after you're in Europe. He's talked about all these things and he was ridiculed for them all. And now what happens? They all want 5 subs. They all love the 5 subs. They all, like, what, 12:30? Everyone kicks off if they were 12:30 now. After Europe, we don't have to play 12:30 because that's the new rule, isn't it great? Yeah, but you were ridiculing Jurgen Klopp 2 years about it. So I just think it's like Emmett says there, Klopp walking on Anfield taking heads clean off with the Premier League trophy. Like, I could just, do you know what I mean? I think he is going to get more and more honest as these last, 12 weeks or so, is it? Probably not even that. Probably 10 weeks of his Liverpool career comes to an end, and I'm all for it. And I don't give a fuck what he says. I don't care who he says it to. The club should just say to him, you do what you want. And if a fucking 10 million fine lands on the door, we'll cover it. You go out in a blaze of glory. And if he can go out and upset as many people as he can while picking up trophies, it's the best ending you've ever seen. It's better than Escape to Victory.
I think we should all be on Duolingo now, lads, learning German, because I think when he goes back, we got the Euros this year, right? He's going to go back to German TV. He's left England. He's left Liverpool. He's going to, and he'll be speaking in his native tongue. He'll be able to express himself even fucking more than he can in English. He's going to go over to these German.
Oh, Robbie froze at the wrong time. But Robbie's frozen. If you can hear us, Robbie, just drop out and come back in. We'll all be just hanging out Rosetta Stone now, isn't it? Rosetta Stone
with the Golden Cleric Award, And now the lawyers, and now the pricks, and just fucking call them all out on the top of the rival building after the parade. If he gets it, just fucking let them all have it.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will let them all have it.
I'm really looking forward to the book as well. Obviously, there will be a book.
Yeah.
Well, it's the television series. It's being recorded at the moment.
Well, they are recording the thing for Netflix, aren't they? The end of the
I don't know if
season.
it's Netflix or Amazon. It's one of
them.
One
of them is, yeah.
Because this is it. Like, this is the moment that he's getting. They're covering off his last 5 months or whatever it is as Liverpool manager. So, like, if it was a warts and all, like proper warts, it won't be, right? But if it was warts and all, it would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
To get. Imagine he had it.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched a single episode of Sunderland till I die. I don't give a fuck about Sunderland, right? I haven't watched a single one of the sports one, because I don't care about sports. I haven't watched a single thing of the Arsenal one. I think Arsenal done one as well. Don't care about them. But I would watch, if you showed me the last 5 months of Klopp's reign, where he's just going around going, I hate everybody.
Tom Bowler makes a point. I want the same. I want to see Klopp, right, rolling off like Ian Ayre did at the end of being Liverpool. Remember, he jumped on his Harley at the end of the series, and he went out with they went out with the song "I'm a Man on Fire." That's what I want. But I want flames shooting out of Klopp.
No,
as he's leaving.
I think Klopp should go off in an Opel Corsa, right? Because he's mad into Opel, right? An Opel Corsa down the Breck Road, right, with all the trophies hanging off the back of it. You know, like you would when you see this Just Married thing, right? With all the cans off the back of the car. All the trophies tied to the back of it, right? In an Opel Corsa. And just a big fucking Erdinger in his hand. Not giving a fuck. Straight down the Breck Road. And then cut the end scene.
Oh, do you know it'd be a great one? if it was just him going to the airport, but then skipping all the queue because he's using the EU line. Like, I'm off. Good luck. Stick that, lads. Enjoy your queues. We're off. Boom. Out the door. Out the gap. Back to Europe.
But do you not think, like we've seen Klopp in title run-ins and you know, stressful times, injuries and wherever it might be, right? COVID, you know, was very stressful for him because I think his mother might have died during that and stuff. And you've seen him kind of not tighten up, but really focused, you know, a little bit short with people because you could kind of go, Jesus, he's really in here, like he's all in. But you look at him now, right? And he's like still in all these competitions, right? Massive fucking stress levels, clearly. Half his fucking team out injured. And he's literally strolling into interviews, like breaking his bollocks, laughing at people. Like, it's just like a weight has been lifted off him. And he, instead of this burden on him and the media doing his face in and all the things he has to do in the football club, he's literally went, it's like when you're going on holiday, right? Remember when you used to go on holiday and your ma used to clean the gaff from top to bottom before she left, right? Because she always wanted to come back to clean beds and the whole lot, right? It's literally like he set this up and went, right, everything's in place. All the beds are spotless. I've dusted the whole fucking place. I've cleaned all the windows. We can go away for 5 months now and everything's going to be brand new, right? That's what he's done. So now all he has to do is turn up, tell the team to do deadly, have a laugh after, slag a load of people up, fuck off home. And that's exactly what he's doing. And it's like he's just put everything in place and went, boom. That's what he told him in November. He said, by January, I want everything in fucking place. I'm going to tell everyone, and I don't have to do all this shit for 5 months. It's me and the team, and we're going for it. And I just think it's brilliant. And you said earlier, I think he's at a 6 for honesty. He'll hit 11.
That's what I was waiting. I said, he's a 6 out of 10 at the moment, right? Because he's still being not coy, but he's still being intelligent about the type of advances he's given. I think by the end of the season, there'll be no gloves. It'll be bare knuckle. Be straight in, right?
If he's standing at Anfield with the Premier League title in his hand at the end of this season, he's letting everyone have it. Because the only 2 games he has left is an FA Cup, right? Is an FA Cup and possibly a Europa League final. They're both on after the last day of the season.
Could I actually I'll just make a plea if anyone in the club is listening, please don't do a bus tour, right? Just do something different. Put up a massive stage in Stanley Park or something like that, right? Just something different, right? And let them all go.
There's no way in Liverpool you could host that sort of thing.
You have to come up with something, right? If listen to me, there's a massive stadium there just built in the dock with nothing going on in it that they could just let everyone into, right? Just have a yeah. It's lots of but Gav, every city in the world has their teams in to do stuff, and they have it in the town square or they have it in a big area. You can do it. Anyone can do it. I don't believe us.
I'm with you, but when I think around Liverpool, you know, where in the city centre are you finding an area big enough? Because this isn't 100,000 people turned up. No. Like, I promise you, 1 million people will show up to this fucker. I'm telling you that now. Even if he has a League Cup only, and they say Jurgen Klopp wants to meet everybody before he leaves, I promise you 1 million people will be here. Like, there's the amount of people. Like, I'm convinced on the last day of the season, if Liverpool are champions or can be, or have it in their hands to be champions, or even just have a chance of being champions on the last day, there'll be 60,000 people in Anfield. I guarantee there'll be another 60,000 around the ground. I fucking guarantee you that.
I'm telling you now, I want something different.
Do it in the Phoenix Park. Do it in the Phoenix Park.
I was going to say, do it in the Phoenix Park. It's grand, yeah. Right?
You can stay with your man in the big house over there. He's allowed to spare rooms.
Pope.
The Pope?
Stay with the Pope.
No, we won't stay with the Pope.
Did they build a secret hotel underneath the Pope's cross when he came?
It's not that fucking secret. You know about it.
Shit, no, I'm not telling you, but it's still there.
A secret hotel under the what?
You know the cross in the Phoenix Park?
Papal cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a hotel underneath that.
Yeah.
For what?
For when the Pope was here.
Who was staying there?
The Pope.
The Pope wasn't staying in a fucking thing underneath there.
He did.
Just stop.
Yeah, on his entourage.
But the Papal cross wasn't there when the Pope came.
He was up down the ceremony.
No, was that
I
only
was at
put
it.
up? That was only put up
No,
after.
it was part of the altar. It was part of the backdrop
Yeah.
of the altar.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what did he do?
You know
Like when he finished, he went, "I'm just going to go to my room now," and just lowered down into the ground. Into the ground.
Oh,
Like some off grand designs. You know your man with the mad eyes, your man McLeod, standing there going,
Yeah.
"What a design this is!" And the Pope just
It's now
disappears into the ground.
it's now one of our nuclear bunkers.
Yeah, our only nuclear bunker, I would say.
No, there's a few. I can tell you the location of
We
a few
just
around
stop.
town.
Ireland have about 25 black cats in a fucking in a box
Okay,
somewhere for
I'll
war.
give you one. I'll give you one now. And the next time you're in town, check it out. Next time you're in Merrion Square, right? If you go into Merrion Square and you go down to the corner that's not at the Leinster House and the far corner, you'll see a mound of grass that comes up, right? That's a bomb shelter. That's the entrance to a bomb shelter. They don't need to peel away 3 layers of grass to get in there. I'm not even messing, Robbie. I'm serious. And the whole bomb shelter goes underneath Merrion Square
So this is
itself.
the corner of Merrion Square and Fitzwilliam Street.
Yeah,
All right, I'll go in. I'm in town next week.
go in and check it out. Go in.
I'll go
You
have a
can,
look.
right?
I
So
will.
if you
Give
want
me
to
a
know where all
shovel.
the secret
Give me
bomb
a shovel.
shelters
I'm just
are,
gonna go. I'm just checking the shelters. All right, lads.
I've always been a fan of bomb shelters, and I was in checking them out, the secret ones that they
And
have around
hotels
town.
in the Phoenix Park.
Hotels in the Phoenix Park.
Yeah.
The Pope still has all the
Phil
rooms. There's a
drives through.
scoop going everywhere.
Phil drives down fucking whatever avenue that is in what's the name of the avenue in fucking in the
many
Phoenix
avenues.
Park? The main street too. I can't remember the name of it. And he just drives through there with the kids and goes, "Oh, I'd love to stay in that hotel." And they're all just looking around the fields and deer. He's like, "I'd love to stay in that hotel." What?
There's a swimming pool and everything.
Hold on, Robbie has the name. What is it, Robbie?
Chesterfield Avenue.
Chesterfield Avenue.
Chesterfield
Correct.
Avenue. Yep, that's right. But there's a swimming pool and everything. And that there's a hotel. It's like it's not being used anymore.
Swimming pool, hotel, no. Hotel. Not being used anymore, though.
Not being used. Close up. They should use it. It could house a lot of people who are needy at the moment. So that's what I'd say. Anyway, I think that's going to be a wrap for tonight.
I'd
Bomb
say
shelters.
Bomb shelters in the Phoenix Park and mounds of grass in Merrion Square.
Gav, give us the old the lighthouse. Just before we go, Antoine wants to know age. I am 46 and I'm 47 in 6.5 weeks time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
My name is Gav. I'm 42 in a week's time. What am I talking about? Oh yeah, link is in the description for our fundraiser for the Fan Support and Food Banks and the Lighthouse. Fan Support and Food Banks in Liverpool, as you know what they are. And the Lighthouse is a cafe in Dublin that looks after people less fortunate than ourselves, struggling to make ends meet. And as I said, when the snow arrived for one day in Dublin there a couple of weeks ago, there was 400 people queuing outside that cafe for help. So that's the sort of work they are up against. The link is in the description. If you can donate, please do. I always say it, whoever's watching and whoever's downloading this show on its own, if we all gave €1, we'd literally just like go over the 10 grand. Like that's how easy it is.
Easy.
So if you can't donate, please take the link. Tell people about it. Send the link and tell people what the link is about. Just don't send it and go, there's a link. Send it and tell people what it's about. We're trying to get over the 10 grand. We're closing in. We're just over 2, I think. We have got our golf day coming up and I'll start hammering people for that at the start of April. But that is that. Phil's link is in the description as well. Quest, what's it? You've made this very...
Quest 545.
Quest 545. It's literally like, you know, a Nigerian fella send you an email going, "You've won 20 million, send us your details." It is Quest 545 is dodgy as
Johnny
fuck.
Quest. Johnny Quest. I was thinking Johnny Quest.
Anyway, it's real. We promise we won't put a link up there if it's not real. It's not for Phil's only fans. It's genuinely a link to donate to the Laurel Lane Hospice. The Laurel Lane Hospital is the only hospice in Dublin for children. It's one service you don't ever want to have to use, but loads of people do have to use it. So it's a brilliant pick by Phil to raise money for. He's trying to raise 5 grand, which is basically a grand per event. So like
grand per event, and it's the target's 500 quid a month. We've done the first 500, so we're on the way, right? There's
but if you have a fiver, give 250 to Phil and 250 to us. Do you know what I mean? So we're trying to tie this together and go 15 grand's the target. And as I always said, we won't stop. We will not stop until we get that 15 grand raised. So if that's done in June, great. If it takes to the following June, we'll still keep talking about it. And if we lose viewers and subscribers and members, so be it. We like talking football, but we like helping people more. So that's where we are with that. Next week, when young Matthew comes on, he's going to tell you to donate. He's much more forceful than either me or his father. And we might put something in place that, I don't know, for every tenner that gets donated, Matthew gets an extra question or something along them lines. And God knows he's going to fucking ask me. We'll be here all night. But that's where we are with them, Phil.
Well, that's just so you all know when he comes on, right?
I really like to.
There's the little fella there.
Look
right?
at him.
Yeah, there he is with me. There at the oak. So that's him coming on. He's a messer. He's there he is with his dad. So just to prove that he is mine. So
well, that doesn't prove he's yours. It just proves he's in a picture with you.
But yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. So please, he's a good laugh and he's mad in the head.
Probably do I get a preview to these questions or?
I don't know, Gav. I think I might just let him go free style.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this could be anything. Right? Yeah. Okay. I'll have to put a fucking.
I said genuinely, he's so excited about it. Like I told him tonight.
Look, will you just tell him I don't really want football questions. I'd rather him if he said I'd rather the what is your favourite bleeding through? I'd rather that than a football question.
Do me a favour, right?
Yeah.
Just when you're starting off, I told him that he's going to have to brush up on his football knowledge and he needs to know all the Liverpool songs, right? So I told him he wasn't allowed on unless he sang a song. So
this has got to be bullying. Genuinely, we're going to get closed down with bullying. Yeah.
Antoine just asked a question. What's wrong with shoulders? There's nothing wrong with shoulders. He was basically wearing 2 hoodies underneath the t-shirts, right? And he forgot to pull the hoods out. That's all it was.
I was going to ask the same, but then I thought you had some sort of problem, and I felt bad then.
Massive shoulders. He's working his way up to be a defensive lineman in the NFL.
I was going to say he must have had trials. Did he have for his breakfast?
That's why your man said you can have him for free. I'm not
he just stand there, big massive shoulders, not messing with him. That's his breakfast in there. He fucking took half the breakfast and put it in his top on the way out.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we go now? Please,
yeah, we can. Anyway, fantastic show. Great chat, lads. Robbie, cheers for coming on tonight. I'm glad you got to witness that absolute genius of a match yesterday in the person. Gav, as ever, it's been a pleasure. Gav, are we doing the greatest this week?
Wednesday night.
Are we definitely doing it this week?
Yeah.
Or is that not a better one for the international week?
No. We're doing it Wednesday night.
Are we? And then we're doing the final during the international week, are we?
Yeah. Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Member show. And Matthew might be a member show next week, actually. Yeah, I'd say it'd have to be. It'd have to be. But anyway, you never know. You could end up fucking just running this podcast and we just all piss off somewhere. You'd be that good. So you never know.
Let's we'll be raising money for his shoulders next. It's not his shoulders.
Yeah. Save Matthew's shoulders. But no, tomorrow, I'm on at 10 a.m. tomorrow. There's no show tomorrow night. Wednesday, 10 a.m. Wednesday, 10 p.m. for members. With the greatest. Thursday should be on at 10 a.m. 10 p.m. reaction to Liverpool against Sparta Prague. We're off on Friday and we'll be back Sunday with 2 shows. That's at the moment what the schedule is.
Most excellent. That's been the show. I've been your host, Phil. Good night, God bless. See you during the week. Hit that button.